My sister refuses to meet my new boyfriend and was acting strangely about it. Turns out she was obsessed with him in high school, totally in love, and even tried to sabotage his relationship back then. So I'd been dating this guy for a few months now, and I'm honestly really into him. He's chill, funny, and just gets me in a way most people don't. Naturally, I was pumped to introduce him to my family. I figured it'd be a casual thing, maybe dinner at my place or a quick hangout somewhere. My parents were on board, and they're usually the harder ones to convince, so I thought it'd be smooth sailing. But then there's my sister. She's always been the outgoing one, the type who'd ask a million questions about anyone I'm seeing, sometimes even before I'm ready to spill the details. I expected her to be all over this, maybe even annoyingly so. Except this time, she wasn't. It started with her dodging the whole idea of meeting him. First, she said she had work stuff piling up and couldn't make it to the dinner I'd planned. I didn't think much of it. Her job can get hectic, and I'm not one to nag. But then I tried setting up something simpler, like coffee on a weekend, and she hit me with another excuse. This time it was some vague, friend emergency she had to deal with. I started wondering what was up, because this wasn't like her at all. She's the kind of person who'd normally jump at the chance to size up my boyfriend and give me her unfiltered opinion, whether I asked for it or not. I brushed it off, figuring she was just in a weird mood or had something personal going on she didn't want to talk about. Things got stranger when I showed her a picture of him. I was at her place one day, scrolling through my phone, and I pulled up a photo from a date we'd gone on. Nothing fancy, just him smiling at the camera while we were out grabbing food. I held it up and said his name, expecting her to at least say he was cute or something. Instead, she froze. Like, full-on stopped moving for a solid few seconds. Then she blinked, plastered on this fake smile, and said she was too busy to meet him anyway. It was so awkward I didn't even know how to respond. I just nodded and changed the subject, but it stuck with me. Why would she act like that over a photo? I started wondering if maybe he looked like someone she knew, or if she was dealing with some drama I didn't know about. Either way, it left me confused, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Weeks went by after that weird photo moment, and I kept trying to figure out what my sister's deal was. I didn't push her too hard because I didn't want to start a fight over something that might have been nothing. She kept making excuses whenever I brought up meeting my boyfriend, and I started getting used to it. I'd mention a plan, she'd say she couldn't, and I'd just shrug and move on. My boyfriend didn't seem bothered by it either. He's pretty laid back and didn't care if my sister was part of the picture yet. I told myself it wasn't a big deal. She'd meet him eventually, and whatever was going on with her would sort itself out. Then one night, me and my boyfriend were hanging out at his place, just watching some random show and talking. Out of nowhere, he started telling me about his high school years. He's not the type to ramble about the past, so I was listening mostly because it was rare. He mentioned how he dated this girl back then, nothing too serious, but it ended messy. Apparently, some other girl got involved, someone who wasn't even part of their friend group. She started spreading rumors about his girlfriend at the time, saying she was cheating and making up all kinds of nonsense. It got so bad that his relationship fell apart, and he didn't even know who was behind it until way later. He laughed it off now, saying it was dumb high school drama, but then he dropped the name of the girl who did it. It was my sister's name. I didn't react right away. I just sat there, processing it. Same first name, same last name. My stomach dropped because there was no way this was a coincidence. I asked him what school he went to, just to be sure, and it matched the one my sister and I went to. She's a couple years older than me, so she would have been there at the same time as him. I didn't say anything to him about it. I didn't want to drag him into whatever this was turning into. But my mind was racing. Had my sister known him back then? Was that why she freaked out over the photo? I couldn't sleep that night, just lying there thinking about how I needed to talk to her and get the truth. The next day, I couldn't wait any longer. I drove straight to my sister's place after work. I didn't call ahead because I didn't want her to have time to come up with another excuse. When she opened the door, she looked surprised but let me in. I didn't waste time. I told her what my boyfriend had said about high school, the rumors, the breakup, all of it. I used her name, point blank, and asked if it was her. She didn't answer at first. She just stood there, staring at the floor, and I could tell she was caught. Then she sat down on the couch and started crying. It all came pouring out after that. She admitted it was her. She'd been obsessed with him back in high school. She said she'd had this huge crush on him for years, way before he even started dating that other girl. She followed him on every social media platform they had back then, MySpace, Facebook, whatever else was big at the time. She'd watch his posts, track who he was with, everything. When he got a girlfriend, she couldn't handle it. She told me she spread those rumors because she thought if they broke up, she'd have a shot with him. It didn't work, obviously. He never even knew she liked him. She said she stopped after high school, but then seeing me with him brought it all back. I was floored. I didn't know what to say. This wasn't just some teenage crush gone wrong. This was full-on stalker behavior. I asked her why she didn't tell me when I first mentioned him, and she said she couldn't. She claimed she was ashamed but also jealous. Like seeing him with me was tearing her up inside. I left her place without saying much else. I needed time to think. My sister, the one I'd always been close to, had this whole hidden side I never saw coming. And now she was acting like my relationship was some personal attack on her. It was a lot to take in, and I wasn't sure what to do next. I spent the next few days replaying everything in my head. My sister's confession kept looping, how she'd been obsessed with my boyfriend, how she tried to ruin his high school relationship, how she still wasn't over him. It wasn't just the fact that she'd done it, it was how she hid it from me all these years. We'd grown up together, shared a room for half our lives, and I thought I knew her. Now I was questioning everything. I didn't tell my boyfriend about it yet. He didn't need to know my sister was the same girl from his past, not until I figured out how I felt about it myself. I couldn't stop thinking about her reaction when I confronted her. She didn't even try to deny it once I laid out the facts. The tears, the breakdown, it was real, but it didn't feel like regret. It felt like she was upset she got caught, not sorry for what she'd done. That bugged me the most. I kept wondering if she'd have ever told me if I hadn't figured it out. Probably not. She'd been fine letting me date him without a heads up, knowing she had this history with him. It made me feel like I couldn't trust her anymore, not just about this, but about anything. I decided to talk to her again. I needed to see if she'd own up to it properly or if she'd double down. A few days after the first confrontation, I texted her and said I was coming over. She didn't argue, just said okay. When I got there, she looked tired, like she hadn't slept much. I asked her straight out if she was sorry for what she did, not just to me, but to him back then. She didn't answer right away. Then she said she didn't know how to feel. She admitted she'd been jealous of me dating him, but instead of apologizing, she started saying stuff like I didn't get how much he'd meant to her. She actually said I was taking what was meant to be hers. I couldn't believe it. She was acting like I'd stolen something from her, not like I'd just met a guy I happened to like. That conversation was the breaking point for me. I'd gone in hoping she'd at least try to make things right, but instead she turned it around and blamed me. She didn't care that I was happy with him, or that I had no idea about her past with him when we started dating. All she could focus on was her own feelings, like they were the only ones that mattered. I told her she was being ridiculous. How was I supposed to know about some high school crush she never got over? She didn't have an answer for that. She just sat there, quiet, while I grabbed my stuff and left. Driving home, I realized I was done. I didn't want to deal with her anymore. This wasn't just about my boyfriend, it was about how she'd kept this massive secret and then acted like I was the bad guy for living my life. I decided to cut her off. No calls, no texts, no updates about me or my relationship. I blocked her on everything that night. It wasn't easy, she's my sister, and we've been through a lot together, but I couldn't see a way forward with her acting like this. I needed space, and honestly, I didn't trust her not to pull something else. My boyfriend noticed I was off the next time we hung out. I didn't tell him the full story yet, just said I'd had a fight with my sister and didn't want to talk about it. He didn't push, which I appreciated. I wasn't ready to drag him into the mess. Part of me wondered if I should tell him eventually, since it involved his past too, but I figured I'd deal with that later. For now, I just wanted to focus on us and forget about her. It was weird though, every time I thought about her, I kept wondering how long she'd been hiding stuff like this. That obsession she had, it wasn't normal. And if she'd kept it under wraps for years, what else didn't I know about her? Life without my sister in it started feeling strange, but also kind of peaceful. I didn't have to worry about her excuses or weird reactions anymore. I stopped bringing her up with my boyfriend, and he didn't ask. We just kept doing our thing, going out, staying in, whatever felt right. It was nice to have something normal after all that drama. I still hadn't told him about her being the girl from his high school past. I kept going back and forth on it. Part of me thought he deserved to know, since it was his life she'd messed with, but another part didn't want to stir things up. He seemed happy now, and I didn't want to ruin that with old baggage. I started noticing little things about how I'd changed since cutting her off. I wasn't checking my phone as much, waiting for her to text me some half-baked apology or explanation. I didn't feel that nagging guilt I used to get when we'd fight, like I had to fix it because she was family. It hit me that I'd spent a lot of time over the years smoothing things over with her, even when she was the one being unreasonable. This time, I wasn't doing that. I was letting her deal with her own mess, and it felt like a weight was gone. But every now and then, I'd catch myself thinking about what she'd said, that I'd taken something meant for her. It was so delusional it almost made me laugh, but it also creeped me out. She'd built this whole fantasy around a guy who didn't even know she existed back then. I started wondering how deep that obsession went. Had she kept tabs on him after high school? Did she know where he lived or worked before I even met him? I didn't have proof, but knowing she'd stalked his social media back in the day made it hard not to imagine worse. It was unsettling, realizing the person I trusted most might have been hiding something that unhinged all along. A couple months passed, and I settled into this new normal. My boyfriend and I were getting closer, and I was starting to think about telling him the truth. Not because I wanted to drag my sister back into my life, she was still out of it, but because it felt wrong keeping it from him. One night, we were out at this little diner he likes, and I just went for it. I told him my sister was the girl who'd spread those rumors about his high school girlfriend. I kept it simple, just the facts, her name, what she did, how I found out. I said I'd cut her off after she admitted it and got weird about us dating. He took it better than I expected. He didn't get mad or freak out. He just nodded, like he was putting pieces together, and said it made sense why she'd been avoiding him. He remembered her vaguely from school, same classes, same circles, but never knew she'd liked him that much. He asked if I was okay, which caught me off guard. I told him I was, mostly. It still messed with my head sometimes, but I was moving past it. He didn't push for more, just said he was glad I told him and left it at that. I felt lighter after that, like I'd been carrying something I didn't need to. After that talk, I stopped worrying about him finding out some other way. My sister didn't have a way to contact him, or me, anymore, so I figured that chapter was closed. But I couldn't help wondering what she was doing now. Was she still hung up on him? Had she moved on? I didn't care enough to check, but the thought lingered. Knowing her, she was probably stewing over it, convincing herself she'd been wrong. It was sad in a way, but I wasn't responsible for fixing her. She'd made her choices, and I was done letting them drag me down.